Some small businesses can't afford a directory listing, but they have skills and they have talent. Their talent matches the hard work and the know-how. Their workplace can be from the kitchen or a van. The business might be set up in a home or a garage. You don't find these providers listed in a book directory, but you can find them on EQICaribbean.com, the online tool you'll need to search for products and services. Because as long as you are searching, we'll be here to list them.
Court in session. I am here with the two Avengers, Teron King and Keelan Phillips, and the Bajan Scout, Alan Pinder. And of course, we are doing the NBA thing, and there's no need to look anywhere else but court in session when you want info about the NBA. And right now, we are going to start with the East and Avenger number 1, Teron King. Let me hear you. What's happening in the East?
This week in the East, what I wanted to talk about was coming up to the end of the regular season. I think we could start to take a look at the first round playoff matchups, the potential first round playoff matchups. I think it's very interesting. I think if we talk about first round playoff matchups, we always have to talk about the play-ins first, which is 7 to 10, right? Is 7 to 10 is play-ins?
7 to 10 is play-ins.
So is it 7 play 10 and 8 play 9?
Yes.
Nah.
No.
The 7 play 8 and 9 play 10.
7 play and 9 play 10.
Yeah.
Right.
That sounds dumb. I feel like 7 should have like some sort of advantage playing against the weakest of the opponents.
They do. They only have to play one game. It's an advantage.
Yeah.
That's a whole game as well.
Yeah.
Pardon?
It's a home game as well.
Oh, it's a home game.
Yeah, so once 7 wins, they lock at their spot.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say 7 beats 8. 8 has another chance, correct? To play the winner of the last works.
Yeah.
And they have home court in that.
So if I were to start today, we'd have the Raptors playing the Nets and the Hornets and Hawks. Now, these are two very interesting matchups because the Raptors are a very good defensive team. Can they keep up with the guns that Brooklyn has? Maybe not. So one team's better defensively, one team's better offensively. That'll be a nice
gun that Brooklyn has. Gun.
Yeah, Kyrie can't play.
One game.
Gun.
And they have Curry and a whole peripheral of shooters around the place still. Curry, Patty Mills, and not just shooters, but guys that can hit threes. And that's all you really need when you have someone like Kevin Durant. Someone to help space the floor and take some of the offensive weight off you. So that would be a fun. Actually, know that Kyrie is not playing. That kind of evens the playing field a bit more. And I think that would be a fun matchup to watch. Hawks Hornets has to be one of the fastest paced potential matchups I can think about. Like just thinking about it is giving me a headache. I hope St. Louis can be moving. Like you got LaMelo on one side and Trey on the other side leading two offenses. They can just really they look a school league game. I can be real. They look a very high paced school league game. And to be honest, in both of those matchups, in either of those matchups, anyone could come out, which means that. And then even if you take, let's say the Raptors win, and the Nets have to play Hornets or Hawks, anyone could come out of that too. Like I feel like 7 to 8 to 10 is so close, skill wise, that it's hard to say who might even come out to become the 7 or 8. So what we're gonna do to make things go along, we're just gonna leave 7 or 8 how it is right now, and let's just say the playoffs start with Raptors and Nets in their playoff positions. The Heat would have to play the Nets first. That is not a prize for coming first. That's a terrible prize. Especially thinking about the fact that 2 games for sure Kyrie is going to be playing. At least 2. Kyrie is going to be playing. That's so annoying. And if Ben comes back, even worse.
Actually, if it goes 7, he could play 4 of those games.
That's crazy.
At
least 2. But you might end up playing 4 games against Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant and potentially a Ben Simmons. And the Heat is already a small team with Bambi in their center. Andre Drummond, a rebounding machine, and he had rebounding problems. They had the entire season. That would be your price for coming first. They need to start losing some games right now. I want to play the Raptors. I want to play the Hornets or the Hawks. I don't want to play the Nets. What kind of Anyhow, let's move on. The next matchup we would have would be Raptor 76ers. I personally prefer if it was the next 76ers. Everyone wants to see those storylines come about. But let's see, Raptor 76ers. I think that the Raptors' biggest weakness is their center position, just like the Knicks, actually. That's funny. They can't guard any elite big man. Any. Unless it's like Bam and he's the same size as them. Actually, Bam killed them too, now I think about it. Bam dropped like 30 on them. So they have a huge, they're a good defensive team. But whenever you get a big that's dominant, like a Giannis or AD or those kind of people, they never seem to be able to handle that big person. So when you have the big person, offensively, I'm not talking about overall. Overall, you have to talk about your pitch. But offensively, I mean, like going at your basket, I want to put the ball in the hoop. That's Joel Embiid. And I just can't see. And they have to work with James Harden too. As good as that team's been all season, I can't see them winning.
I don't know. I don't want to go into a coaching. Like if I got the 76ers would definitely have the advantage there, but like if we go in coaching tactics, I would rather vote for Nick Nurse than Doc, in my opinion. It just from a pure coaching tactical standpoint, I think Nick Nurse makes very good adjustment in terms of defensive schemes. With like even if he doesn't have a big body, the fact that he has Scotty Barnes, OG, and Siakam, he could like put three of them to double jam, swarm hard, and force like kind of like the others. I still, it won't shock me if these Raptors push them, but I still think the 76ers would end up winning that series.
Yeah, you see, it's funny that you bring that up because that's a question on coaching types. And Doc Rivers is more like an inspirational speaker where he would like get the best of his best players and have everyone play up to a certain level. But you see Nick Nurse, people like Nick Nurse, Spoelstra, tacticians. They will coach you straight out the building. So it would be a fun matchup because honestly, 76ers have the better team. But Keelan is saying that Raptors might have the better coach in terms of a playoff situation. So you never know. That might end up being a toss-up too. That would be fun to watch. Bucks Cavs would have been so interesting at 3 and 6 if Jarrett Allen did not get hurt. It still potentially could be interesting, but Jarrett Allen getting hurt, he's not playing. He's over season. He's done.
Nah, he elected not to have surgery, so he could potentially come back. He's actually even before the series, either right before the season or for the playoffs, he could come back.
That's crazy. Well, that just makes it more exciting. Someone like Jarrett Allen really bolsters that. I feel like when he's there, that team is a crazy elite defensive team, and I would love this. That is one team I think can handle Giannis and the Bucks in terms of matching them length for length. It has to be that Cavs team. You have is Laurie. What was Laurie's status right now?
Yeah, he's playing.
He's playing.
He's back.
Yeah.
Laurie's not a good defender by any means, but he's extremely long. And
he's 7 feet.
And then you still have the guy that was starting at 3 when Laurie was up. What's his name? The good defensive guy.
Is that
Okoro. And he could give the Middleton problems as well. And then you have, the only problem is that they don't really have anybody slow them Drew that kind of way. But really and truly, that's not but then Drew has to worry about that young gun that they have. Darius Garland is a problem. I've seen him. I mean, Drew's probably going to lock him up. Let's be real. But
he's nice.
A problem.
He's nice.
After watching him play. No, we could get a match that I really, really wanted to talk about. No, don't mind the standings. That's all due to injury. I don't know what has clicked in the Celtics locker room of late, but Ime Udoka has been getting the best out of that team. Mm-hmm. I think the report that something had clicked for them, something about what Ime had been telling them all season had clicked in terms of like buying into their roles and stuff in a certain game, and then from there they just went crazy. But whatever it was, it definitely is working for them. Jason Tatum is consistent. I don't know because he's on my fantasy team and he's my favorite player in the league, let's be real. He's consistently dropping 30s, 40s, and 50s. And Jason, it's not like Jaylen Brown is like out there struggling to keep up with him either. Jaylen Brown, I think both of them dropped 30 the other night. And I think that's a trend. They've been dropping high points as individuals for a while. So their offense is clearly working. They're beating teams. Their defense is probably best in the league right now, if not second best. Has to be. If it's not one, it has to be two, because they're just watch the Celtics. Watch the Celtics play. It's beautiful. And Jason Tatum. Let's be real. Just watch Jason Tatum. Anyhow, let me not get too emotional. On the other side, you have a team that was basically what the Celtics are now, the hottest commodity, yada, yada, until injuries plagued them. And they're getting back their players little by little. Patrick Williams is playing, I think tonight is the first night he's back.
Second.
Second, he's been back. Caruso been back a week and a half, I think. And Lonzo, well, I still don't think there's any timetable for Lonzo's return, but I think Lonzo is supposed to be there within the first round. And
about before the playoffs, but it was a report saying that they had to kind of ease up a little bit on his recovery as to not thing. So, but he should be but hopefully be before the playoffs. And I just want to say something quick on the Bulls side of the matchup. I think that could be a really interesting matchup in terms of you got two wing duos. I think I can't remember if they're one, but they have to be at the top 2 or 3 in terms of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I think where both of them score 30 points in a single game, I think they have the most times. And I think DeRozan and Levine have the most times of a duo scoring 25 points in a game as well. So that's 2 high scoring wings that will just be going at it. Shout out to Robert Williams. I know everybody's talking about Gobert and Draymond for defensive player of the year, but he has been something special in terms of their defense being good.
He's been a problem.
Yeah, he's
a perfect partner next to Al Horford as well, because he's like, all the things Al Horford can't do, he makes up for.
Exactly. So that should be a interesting, especially if healthy. You got 2 guys that could potentially lock down in terms of like those role players, like Marcus Smart versus Alex Caruso. I think the person that might actually be the X factor will be the person who's coming back from injuries, Alonzo. I actually say Alonzo because like he's somebody who could push the pace for the Bulls. Sometimes they like to go in a half court because of DeRozan, but he's somebody who could also push the floor with Zach, who likes to get on the break. Well, DeRozan and Vucevic kind of give a different half court set. So I think like the contrasting styles even within the team itself could be a nice little chess thing. And then in terms of Baydala versus Udoka, I don't even know if anybody really has an advantage coach boys. I think it's pretty much they're pretty much I think as is. Like it's just okay. That
they're what they are. They're not anything different. They're what they are.
Yeah. So that matchup to me would be the most interesting. Plus 2, I want DeRozan to beat Tehran because DeRozan's one of my favorite players, and Tehran's one of Tehran's favorite players. So let's get it.
Yeah, that would be a very interesting matchup though. I think I would be. I mean, the fact that it's coming first round just goes to show how deep the East really is this year as well. Like this first round lineup could be crazy. I just need the Nets to, you know what I mean, just shift up or down like you're doing. You don't have to go. You don't have to go, but you can't stay here, right? Yeah.
I think one of the reasons you like the Celtics as well is because they seem to be very similar to the Heat were in the bubble. The Heat, they started very slowly that season, and then they just came on later on into the season and pushed up into I think they were probably the 4th seed as well that year in the bubble.
Yes.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
And now going to the finals. So the Celtics to me seem to be tracking in a similar type of direction. But
I have to tell that. I have to tell that the Heat though. There's something about the Heat that as a coach, right? That you like to see, right? I mean, don't care who they slot in, they still be able to mortar on, and that means that they're unbeatable. But it means that they don't miss a beat, and that's what I like. Right now, other teams missing men, and you can see, it's real obvious that they're missing people. But when he miss a couple of people, you're not sure because this player one way all the time, and I don't know if you might say that you don't want to meet the Nets in the first round, but I don't think Nets want to meet you in the first round either. So that would be an interesting matchup. But that's it for the East there, or you have anything more there for me, Teron?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. So then we move over to the West, and you know the usual thing from Avenger number 2. Let me hear you.
Yes, sir. Trending up, we have our lovely Suns, who are an unbeatable machine. Apparently, doesn't matter who plays, who doesn't, they just win every game. They won 5 games in a row.
Yeah, 5 games in a row, yes.
Yeah, the Timberwolves, they're not on a consecutive streak, but they've won 10 over their last 12. They've been playing really well of late.
Yes.
You know, trending down, we gotta talk with the Lessers, you know, give them a little love, you know, before we
Yeah.
talk about the more important things. The good old Sacramento Kings lost 3 games in a row, right on track for their mediocrity. The Clippers have lost 3 games in a row as well, but you know, we understand their situation of inconsistency. Their 2 best players out, bunch of role players having to be starters. They go win some and they can lose some. So that's just how it is. I'm still giving you, and still competing every night. And look, out of every team that is trying to meet their objective right now in the NBA, the Suns and the Thunder are doing the perfect job. 10 in a row, lost 10 in a row. Let me go. Let me get that high draft pick. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the OKC and Houston Rockets been eliminated from playoffs.
Hey, look, right on track. Perfect for them. Perfect. The standings are the same from last week. There's really been no movement. I think we're in terms of the playing for the standings, which I'm gonna talk about a little later. I don't think, like, whereas in the East, like, you could have like anywhere between 2 to maybe 5, even maybe 6 switch between now and then. I actually don't think the standings are really going to change much in terms of certain groupings of things. Like, I don't see the Grizzlies dropping to like the 5th seed or the 6th seed. I think the standings in the West are a little bit more clear cut, but we can talk about that a little later. Player of the week, Devin Booker. Well, if your team win 5 years in a row, well, and you average 35 and 5, I think that used to be player of the week. Suns obviously team of the week went for MVP tracker. Now, while I still have Jokic kind of at the top, right? I mean, it's getting really, really close. That race is really, really close. You really could make an argument for any Jokic, Giannis, or Embiid, and I can't really tell you no. Like, I can't tell you no for any case that you made. Right now, Embiid and Giannis, but I think have the same record in terms of wins, but Giannis has slightly better stats. But then Jokic has like better stats than all in terms of metrics and just everything, but his record isn't as good. So just make a case for anybody and you're good. And then showing Luka saying MVP love, we got he as 4th and Ja as 5th. All right, so let me talk about 2 little nuggets here, quick. Nuggets. I didn't want to talk about nuggets. It wasn't on purpose. About nuggets here before we talk about the playing matchups. The Nuggets, apparently there was a report from Mike Malone saying that Marie isn't close to being ready. With all these reports, I take them with a grain of salt. Sometimes I don't believe half the things that they say half the time, because
Tyrese Halliburton is a chess match.
Tyrese Halliburton was we're definitely not trading him. He's on the Pacers. This person ain't moving. This person ain't came out, and then all of a sudden they come back. So when the season is over, they will see if he comes back or not. But Michael Porter Jr., he's definitely on track to come back. He was already playing in G League, and they said that he should be coming back next week. Nothing has been said since then to like say, oh, it's a setback, anything. So as far as we know, at least one of them is coming back. The Suns, I don't know how they get it done because they lost CP3. Cam Johnson was out for a while now, and then Cam Payne missed a game, and they still can all win. I don't know their gods, whatever. They win. The Timberwolves are a good team. This is not 2004. It's not 2019. The Timberwolves are a good team. Can't believe I'm saying this, but the Timberwolves are a good team. Kings take a note out of that. Try to be good. In terms of the matchups, no.
Next
No,
year,
no,
for brand new draft pick play.
no, there's never gonna be. Okay, so some of the matchups now. We can talk about the playing a little bit because obviously everybody the playing is has attention because of one team. We all know why it has attention. Mr. LeBron Ramon James. Obviously, if LeBron is in the playing is the most important thing though, because that's to the face of the league. So right now, the Pelicans and the Lakers flip-flopping between 9 and 10 to see who can get eliminated with the Suns first. But honestly, I know the Lakers don't have to get full home court advantage for that matchup because really and truly, in a one game, if one team has Braun and one team doesn't, just in a one game, I may still give Braun the benefit of the doubt. Like even if they are like 0-72, for one game,
you said you think you give Braun the benefit.
I give him Braun the benefit.
Anytime. And I mean anytime. LeBron Ramon James has to win one basketball game to move forward. Yeah. He is not going to lose. I don't care how bad his team is. That could be the whatever year it was, Warriors. I tell you, you tell LeBron James, yo, win one basketball game to keep playing. What? Bro, there's still LeBron James.
Should be interesting though, but I still am not convinced about them, but we'll see how that goes.
No. Just for
a one game, yes, a one game. I understand. I with you with the one game. I don't think it will get to 2 or 3, but 1 is good enough.
But that's the problem here, right? The problem here is that he doesn't have to win 1; he has to win 2 just to see anybody else.
One game. I mean, series, like 1 game per team.
No. I didn't talk about the series. I was talking about literally 1 game. The second game, I had to start about. You see, y'all let me finish. I didn't even talk about the series. The second game, I ain't really too sure. The one, he could win that Pelicans Lakers matchup. No, the other matchup.
Or T-Wolves.
What's the other matchup? T-Wolves?
T-Wolves or Clippers?
Clippers, sure, I can see him run through the Clippers. T-Wolves?
Back-to-back games.
And who are impressed with LeBron James, I don't think he's going to lay down on Sam and LeBron and just, you know what I mean? And the errors are pretty tough.
Might come back for the Clippers. No, is not necessarily lately because they haven't really told much updates, but they said it's a possibility. But yeah. Ignoring that, the first round matchup, anybody from the Clippers to the Lakers to the Pelicans don't matter. Honestly, they get beat by the Suns. Chris Paul should be back, but then I'm sorry, I just know.
Yeah, they get
no. Unless MVP season Paul George and Kawhi Leonard come back for the first game of 2019. Yeah, no, they're not. They're not beating that Suns team. The Grizzlies would have to face the Timberwolves. Might be a fun matchup. I get the Grizzlies. Both teams are young, so you know Grizzlies are second. The Timberwolves. I'm assuming that the Timberwolves are going to be.
You mean 2-7?
Yeah. The Grizzlies are. I think they're just really having fun. They may not even understand the expectations that they have being a second seed in the US, being that young. I think they're just having fun. I think they should get through that matchup. Who's next? No, 3-6. That would be
Warriors and Denver
Nuggets. See, if Murray and Porter Jr. were for sure coming back, that make a interesting matchup. Porter Jr. does help the Jokic, but it's going to be really unfortunate if the MVP gets if Jokic wins MVP and then he gets knocked out early in the first round. You know, that's never a good look, even if the circumstances are obvious that he's underwhelmed and overmatched in terms of teams. But I think the Warriors could get through that, barring Steph help. We'll talk about that later. But then all about health, the most important thing. And then the 4-5 matchup would be
Utah and Dallas.
No, that one. That
That-
one, there's a reason why these 4-5 matchups are 4-5 matchups because they're kind of
They used
supposed
to
to
be close,
favor.
yeah. It's
They
be
used to
close
be
in
close.
be close in record and close in the
And like,
teams that usually be close.
yeah, the only thing I could probably separate a 4-5, like you will see maybe a 4 or 5 like kind of really be a thing is maybe contrasting play styles to where one style is just completely
More
overwhelming
dominant.
the other. Yeah, exactly. But for that Jazz Maverick series, Luca and Donovan Mitchell both play extremely well when the lights are bright. Donovan Mitchell is right now, I think, top 4 in playoff averages points all time. Obviously, it's still early because he hasn't played as much games as the others, but when he playoffs, he puts up numbers. Luca, well, is Luca. We all know what Luca brings. Oh, and I said this on Twitter, and I will come on here, and I will admit when I'm wrong. I did not like that Porzingis trade at first, but I'm here to tell you, hey, I'm not perfect. I was wrong about it. Spencer has been doing. He's
Yes,
been
he's
playing
been
very
doing very
well.
well for my fantasy team.
Yeah, so like, I think that matchup, it's kind of 1 star versus maybe 2, but it's kind of like one offensive star versus another offensive star. Like Rudy's gonna be a defensive star, but he's not gonna give you like 25 points every game. But with Rudy in the paint, it makes it difficult for offensive players to go in the paint. That's all it. But Luka is Luka. Usually, when you have the better player in a series, you have a chance of winning. I think Luka is the best player of that series. However, Jazz will have the second and the third best players of the series. So, it's all, I think that matchup will be very close. I can see that going 7. Whoever wins, hey, I ain't got no problem with whoever wins. So, that
So
will
that
be,
is
I think that's all it matters.
that's the 4-5. That's
Yeah.
4-5, and that is the West. Anything else for me there? Avenger number 2. You think you covered the West quite efficiently? Thank you.
Okay.
Now we want to look at fantasy. All of us are playing fantasy basketball, and right now in the middle of the table, and they're trying to catch number 4. And number 4 is like 200 points in front of me, and they're trying to see if they could, catch up. So I'm looking for a little hit from the Bajan Scout, the man of fantasy, Mr. Alan Pender. Tell me who can I be looking at for a fantasy pick?
Well, we're in the crunch time of the season right now, and it's difficult because a lot of players are injured. Some guys are being shut down for the end of the season, so it's difficult to find value to help your team at this stretch run right now. But I have 2 guys for you that could potentially help. Josh Hart has been playing extremely well for the Blazers. Their backcourt has been fairly banged up. He's been averaging around 22 points, 5 boards, and 5 assists for the Blazers. I think he's their main offense in the backcourt right now. So if he's still available, Josh Hart, trying to pick him up. Bruce Brown for the Brooklyn Nets. He's been playing very well, giving good all-round numbers, 16 points, around 7 boards, 5 assists. Since Kyrie is not going to be available for most of the stretch run, he should get a lot of playing time coming on these last few games. So those 2 guys, I think Bruce Brown should be available in most leagues. But yeah, those 2 guys, if they're available, pick them up. They can help you in that stretch run.
Okay, well, that's good. And obviously, and he's the fantasy guru, so if he tells you Bruce Brown is it, he's it. Right, so that is fantasy. That is the East and the West. But now we go to At the Line, and tonight we are going to discuss the Curry injury. Does the Curry injury mean that the Warriors championship aspirations are over? And I will start with the Bajan Scout, Alan Pinder, and then what your opinion on that? What do you think about Curry being out for this stretch? And he's supposed to be back for the playoffs, but what do you think?
I guess I don't think him being out for the stretch makes that huge of a difference. For me, he started the season really hot. And to me, if he had maintained that level of play, I could see them potentially being, championship championship contenders. But to me, I think he started to cool off a little bit. I mean, even if he started to level out, I think if the team is healthy, they have a good chance. But I still didn't really see them as necessary contenders in the West. I'm just not fully convinced, particularly with Clay still coming back. Yeah, I guess they're not really checking for Wiseman being out. But yeah, I'm just to me, I have to see him get back to that level of play, and he hasn't been at that level he was at early on this season. So coming back from this injury, he should be back just in time for the playoffs. So I think they should get to the first round regardless. But especially with Draymond, we still don't know if he's going to be 100%. He's extremely important to their team. So I think beyond him, I don't think there's enough on that Warriors team to necessarily. I mean, their record is good right now. They're top 3 team, but I don't think that they necessarily get to the conference finals in the West.
Okay, so that is the Bajan Scout, his opinion, and now I'll go to the West guy. What do you think about Curry being out for this stretch for the Warriors?
I agree with Alan in the sense that it's not really the biggest deal in the world if he misses like the last week or two. I don't think they can drop. I don't think they're going to drop any lower than 3. I don't think they're going to rise above 3 either. I think they're probably going to stay as is. But if Curry isn't even close to being, if he is not 100%, they're not winning title. I mean, come on. Like, I know they've had young players that have improved in terms of Andrew Wiggins taking another step defensively into kind of like a good two-way player. Jordan Poole is very good offensive. He's like a starter. He might even be more of a starter because in the games I see when he's given more of a role, especially if Steph and Clay aren't there, you can see that he can put up 20 points per game. But Clay isn't clear yet. Clay had another game the other day where he scored 38, yes. But when coming back from injuries, you are injured constantly, right? You have those games where it looks like, okay, that person looked like the thing. But because of the injury inconsistency, so like they can have one great game, but then you have 2 bad games. And in a playoff series where you only got 7 games already, and truly you could be 0-4. You can't afford to have those bad games. So he's not there yet. I don't think he can get to being Clay of old yet. I think maybe next year be back at all-star level Clay. I don't know if he can get there yet. Draymond is Draymond. Once he's healthy, he doesn't need to score any points. He'll do whatever. But I think if Steph is not 100%, that's basically their title hopes. If he is, I'm a little bit more on their side than Allen. I think they can make the conference finals. They still have Suns being the favorite. But I guess it would depend on who they match up with too. They have to face the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies had their number in the semifinal. They've had their number over the last couple of matchups. So maybe you don't want to face them, but yeah,
They
no
were up to that
100%.
this stage.
Yeah, because they
Unless the Grizzlies get knocked out.
Yes, unless the Grizzlies get knocked out. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Grizzlies get to the conference finals instead of the Warriors, especially if Steph isn't 100%. But no 100% Steph, no title. That is simple as it.
Okay. All right, that is from Avenger number 2. And Avenger number 1, what is your opinion? You also going with that the Warriors really can't do much unless Curry is 100%?
Well, the question was, I think the original question was, does Steph being out right now hurt their title chances? Was that the original question?
Yes.
I don't think it hurts their title chances at all. Not if he's going to be back for playoffs. That just doesn't really. Steph is Steph. Once Steph gets going and Steph is healthy enough to play and Steph gets a rhythm, Steph will do what Steph can do. So the question is, if this injury affects their title chances, my answer is no.
Okay. Well, that is it from the three most knowledgeable men on the NBA, and I'm going with that. So right now we are going to go to pick 5, and last week was kind of a little disaster. When you say disaster, meaning that Avengers number 2 won with 4 out of 5. So we call it a disaster because we have to listen. We have to listen to Avengers number 2. Be happy for the next couple of days. Okay, so the first game in the pick 5, it is San Antonio at Portland. San Antonio at Portland.
Hey, don't mind picking Spurs this time.
Yeah, so okay, let's go with Spurs. And what about you there, Avenger number 1?
I'm gonna go. Wait, is John Murray healthy?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Spurs then.
Going Spurs. What about you there, Alan Pinder, Bajan Scout?
Yep, Spurs as well.
Spurs. I really don't want. Okay, I get Spurs too.
History being made.
I began beat up fairly badly, so I'm gonna start seeing how.
Cool.
On Thursday, it is Indiana versus Memphis. Indiana versus Memphis. This should be interesting.
You're just trying to give Alan a bad one. Crazy.
So
That's crazy.
I will start with the major score. Alabama. Who do you think?
I mean, Indiana got embarrassed by these places last week, right? But
Loyalty.
maybe Halliburton scores 50. So yeah, let's go with Indiana.
Okay, I'll go with Indiana. What about you, Teron King, Avenger number 1?
Yeah, I'm gonna not go for Indiana.
What about you, or should I just pencil in everybody else for Memphis?
Yes, I want Halliburton to score 50 because you're my fantasy team, but Grizzlies, come on. Grizzlies still gonna win. Come on.
Okay. All right, on Friday.
I definitely don't want to happen.
I feel like Alan Pender knows something that we don't know about. Anyway, on Friday, Utah is at Charlotte. Charlotte, the hottest team in the East in consecutive games. They have 5 games in a row. So it is Utah at Charlotte.
Utah at Charlotte.
Okay, all right, we all know just jump up.
I'll go to Utah Jazz.
Oh, you're going with the Jazz. So there goes Alan Pender with the Jazz. You're going with the Jazz too, Tara?
Yeah, I think I'll take the Jazz in that one.
And what about you, Keelan?
Yeah, I'll go with the Jazz.
He going with the Jazz. So I will go with Charlotte just because it will mean that we've won on 2, like everybody going one team, I go next. Saturday, Brooklyn at Miami. Well, I already penciled in Teron King for Miami.
Wait. Brooklyn at
Miami. Brooklyn at Miami.
Yes, sir. Let's go. Kevin Durant, picking Nets.
Okay, you going with the Nets.
We beat them.
Going with Nets. Alan Pender, you going Nets too?
Yeah, I go Brooklyn on this one.
Okay.
We beat them with both of them playing already for the season, and Jimmy did it.
So I really go with Teron King. I'm a Miami Heat. I like their whole setup. I mean, not here for the team, but I like their whole setup. On Sunday,
who do you here for?
LA Lakers versus New Orleans.
Hey.
Lakers versus New Orleans.
Hey.
That question being asked, who do you here for?
Well, I'm going with Lakers simply because
you like Lakers, kind of.
Not really. It's just that.
Because you're a
Lakers fan. I mean, like, I don't want everybody to just pick New Orleans, right? It just feels that Lakers now turn the corner. I mean, that corner was fairly long, but
how much corners are going to turn? How much credit they going to before?
Hey, listen, it was a full circle, dude. It was a full circle. Circle.
It was a circle, it was a maze, and they still lost.
Yeah. So hey, who are you going with there, Alapena?
I was supporting Goody Lakers on this one. So.
Okay, you're going with Lakers. What about you there, Teron King?
Actually, I think I'm gonna go Lakers as well.
Whoa.
Plot twist.
And what about you, Keelan Phillips, Avenger number 2?
My strategy was to like, because I've had 4 out of 5 in the last like 4 weeks. If I follow everybody, even if everybody get everything wrong, then nobody will catch me and leave. Because if all we get wrong is saying, right? I go with the Pelicans.
Okay.
Regard all that, I give it the Pelicans.
And that's it for the pick 5. We'll see what happens next week when we see the results. But right now, I want everyone to just make sure they wear the mask and social distance. I would like to tell the Lakers to social distance too, but
They're
already doing that. So they're social distancing from wins. So right now,
I know defense.
right now the court in session is adjourned.